Welcome to the CEO Journeys podcast. I'm Paul Vetter, CEO and co-founder of VXIT, an IT service provider based in South Florida. This podcast highlights the successes and the struggles of the everyday entrepreneur and business leader. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back to another episode of CEO Journeys. We've got a fun episode today. This is my first time interviewing two people. So welcome to the show, Kristen and Sean Shea. Your last name is a little bit of a tongue twister there, so I apologize about that. This is a husband and wife duo. We want to talk about two things, but you guys own a business, Curly Tail Screen and Window, but you also have an amazing Christmas light show at your house that we'll talk about later in the episode. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. So let's kind of go out of the gate talking about just the dynamic of you guys working together, being married, and you guys work out of your home too. So you guys don't have like a home office. You kind of deploy, you have your trucks at the house and you guys work out of your home office. So I don't know who wants to start first, but I'd love to hear how kind of that dynamic works and maybe the split of responsibilities and whatnot.
I'll start with that.
Okay.
It's very interesting because, when we would walk into like a customer's home, just to give you an example, and they saw a husband and wife, immediately they go to, they probably argue a lot. They probably, when they get home, there's probably problems, so, and that's exactly how they would all look at us. And it was almost the complete opposite. When COVID hit and our plans kind of changed with our business a little bit because of everything that was going on, my wife had to come to work with me and actually start coming on the job sites with me.
Jeez.
And to be able to work side by side like that with your wife takes a very special type of person.
Yeah.
To be able to special type of people to be able to do that all day long.
Yeah.
And then go home, be a family with our kids, our dogs, and everything.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I enjoyed it mainly because when we first had our kids, we were very separated. I was out working all day. She was taking care of the kids all day. And as you know, we have twins. Yep. So that's a lot of work.
Yeah. And how old are they right now?
They're 11.
11. Okay. So for everybody at home, two 11-year-old twin boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, it was an interesting time when we first started and we had the kids and we didn't see a lot of each other. And now all of a sudden, here we are working side by side every single day, all day, not just at work, because we're working side by side when we get home too, as a husband and wife.
Yeah.
So it was, for me, I enjoyed it. I got to spend a lot of quality time with my wife that I didn't. I felt like she learned a lot that a lot of people wouldn't expect a woman to learn in our type of industry. And for that, I'm very proud of her because a lot of people, or even a lot of women, they look at her and they're like, wow, you do this type of work? It's wild that people would think that. And then the men that see her and they're like, they just want to help her. They're like, can I help you lift that?
Sure.
And she's like, no, you see these guns, I can lift this stuff. No problem.
That's awesome.
So it's, it's a different dynamic, but I enjoyed it. We don't work side by side like that anymore. Sometimes we do, but not every day.
We worked alongside each other for 5 years, every day from COVID to last year, the beginning of last year. So we were together for 5 years on the truck. Well, after the truck, I'd come back home and do all the paperwork and all the invoicing and all the phone calls and marketing and everything. And in between, I would do that in the evenings, and it was a lot. So I'm glad things have changed and gotten a little bit more efficient from having to do that.
So before COVID, you were just kind of working out of the home office, taking care of all of that stuff.
Yeah. When we first got started, from the first day, I was always on the phone. I've always been the only person on the phone, the main point of contact. Everybody calls, they get me. But up until COVID, yes, managing kids and everything that was happening on a day-to-day, kids napping on the phone, hiding really quick in a corner, make a quick phone call when it was quiet while they were waking up from a nap and trying to hurry and get back to them really quick. It was a big juggle. It was a lot. So It's nice that they're older and things have changed the dynamic but
Yeah.
it was hard.
So during COVID, what happened that changed the dynamic there? Like, just it was the employees.
It was the employees.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember, but the government offered all this free money.
Yeah.
And in this type of industry, it's really hard to find quality workers.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna say live a normal life.
Yeah.
A lot of them end up being drug addicts, stuff like that, and it's just kind of how the industry is, And so, unfortunately, those types of people were kind of working for us at the time. And when they saw the free money, they were like, "Well, we want that.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to work anymore, and I'm gonna get paid almost what I'm making. Why would I go to work anymore?" So they stopped, showing up here and there, and then we caught one. What one was stealing from us, right? And
Jeez.
so it was one thing after another, and it was a weird time during COVID. So it's like it was hard to trust anybody after that,
Yeah.
Hard to interview anybody.
and then interview anybody. It was a hard
Everyone
time.
didn't know what it was going to do for the rest of our business in general, and how everybody would want to do repairs inside their home. And money as a whole was kind of in a weird spot. A
Yeah.
lot of people were buying houses,
Yep.
and the real estate was booming. But we were a little bit unsure of the longevity of what it was going to look like for us based off of the way of the world at that time. So it was easier to scale back and just be the two of us, lower the overhead, just go in there and do what we were capable of doing as the two of us, and then try to bounce back once COVID passed and things got better. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened.
Sean, just for everybody at home, can you explain exactly what you guys do? We'll kind of give them the context there.
So our main focus of what we do would be sliding glass door repairs.
Okay.
That's what we've always focused the most on. But besides that, we do sliding glass door repairs. We do window repairs. So mainly the operation of the window, not the glass of the window. So if it doesn't go up and down, doesn't crank open, something of that nature, we can take care of that. And same thing, sliding glass door, if it doesn't roll good, we take care of that for you. Window screens. We do window screens. We rescreen your original frames. We make new frames for you. We do sliding screen doors. We also do retractable screen doors, motorized systems as well. We're a dealer for Phantom right now.
Okay.
So we sell those. That's pretty much, we do patio screening as well. So swinging screen doors and all sorts of patio repair, and not as much framing repair, more just straight screening repair.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, every now and then my dad would repair his own little screen, the little sections of screen.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then he'd have me do that. And I was not good at it, and it drove me nuts. It was like tedious, and I was not good at it because I wanted it to be like perfectly taut. Tight or whatever.
It's definitely harder than it looks.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a method to it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Once you it's like anything else. Once you figure out the method, it's really not that difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Someone just has to teach it to you. It's like anything in life,
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And at one point, correct me if I'm wrong, you had like a product, like a cleaning product for the tracks. I mean, you guys still doing that?
So during COVID, we scaled back on that.
Okay.
That was kicking off a lot in 2019.
Okay.
And then COVID hit and we kind of tabled it.
Okay.
So we aren't doing that anymore, but it was starting to take off, and we were trying to get a patent on it. And
let's talk about that journey. Like what was your thought, or what was the thought behind like scaling back on it? Where was your head at there?
Go ahead.
So I was making a cleaning solution for the tracks. So the tracks are aluminum.
Yeah.
We were trying to use as least toxic ingredients as possible. The kids were really little. They were still crawling along the floors, and we were realizing how important it was to use safe things.
Yeah.
And especially we're spraying things in everybody's houses. Everybody has, a dog, a cat, and kids. And we were really trying to be mindful of that. So we came up with a very simple recipe that was basically just vinegar based with oranges and a lot of infusion and a lot of just letting everything congeal.
Yeah.
And bottling it and using it, and figuring out the shelf life of it and everything. So it was a lot of R&D for about a year or so. But we were using it for a while just ourselves, and then we had a local supplier that was that sells locally to sliding glass door repair companies with rollers and locks and handles like what we do, and that would need it. And they were starting to buy inventory from us. But when COVID hit, it just wasn't our focus since I was going back out with him, and everything kind of shifted and it got tabled to the side. But it wasn't a bad idea.
No, it wasn't. I mean,
No,
yeah.
No, it was actually it was a great idea.
there isn't
because-
another one like it.
No,
you know,
and we'd get a lot of questions about, so what are you spraying on our track?
yeah,
I have young kids, I have dogs, I have cats, I have, all sorts of things,
Yeah.
and then, I'm spraying a cleaner that says all natural on it, but do I really know if it's all natural or not? I don't really know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It says all natural on the bottle, the ingredients say it, but if I make it myself, now what I'm saying to the customer is actually true because I know what's in it.
Yeah.
So that's what we thought about, and that's why we decided to do that. But unfortunately, COVID came around and changed a few things for us. But everything happens for a reason. So
something we circle back around to
you never know.
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Cause I feel like everybody, like in the business world, entrepreneur, like they always want this product. They're like, hey, we're going to develop a product. We're going to patent it and stuff like that. And it's hard.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really hard. And I had Tony or Anthony on our podcast here. And he was talking about the supply chain issues with COVID and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like basically put one of his businesses out of business
Right.
because he couldn't get paper or paper products.
Yeah.
So that's, products are hard. So how long have you guys been doing this and kind of how did this get started?
Well, I've been doing this actual work for about 26 years now.
Okay.
We've owned this company for 13. Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say. I didn't want to make that mistake, but I thought it was 13. But
13.
I thought if I hesitated for a minute, she'd jump in. So
I'll ask about your anniversary date next. We'll say that.
So it's been 13 years. The way this came about is a little interesting. I started in the industry at about 17 years old. My father, my senior year of high school, bought a business similar to what I own now, that he knew nothing about. He knew absolutely nothing about it. He was delivering Arizona iced tea before he bought a window and door business.
That's amazing.
And so he really knew nothing about it. The guy that he bought it from was retiring and he just wanted out. So my dad, it was a great deal, low price to buy this business. It came with its own truck. It came with a workshop and it came with one employee. So my dad figured that, this is gonna be a great opportunity. So he buys the business, everything, then realizes, gets in a little over his head that he needs help. He needs more help than this one employee. Because unfortunately, the one employee that it came with was a homeless man. He lived in the shop.
Oh my God.
And he was an alcoholic. So the man was an amazing worker when he was sober. So, but he was like never sober.
Yeah.
So my dad came to me and he said, hey, you're not, I was playing beach volleyball at the time. I wasn't really looking to go to college. I was looking to just play beach volleyball. And so I wasn't leaving Florida.
Like
And-
every young responsible adult does, is just want to hang out and
that
play.
grew up in Florida and grew up on the beach. That's what I wanted to do. So I was playing a lot of volleyball and my dad's like, hey, why don't you come work for me? And that's how I got involved in the industry. I worked for my dad as the low man. I was just a helper and then worked my way up to a lead installer. And then I worked my way up to working in the office and eventually being his vice president. And, it was a very good experience for me since I got to do every single part of the business,
Yeah.
which I think helped me today with running my own business. Because I saw it from every different angle. I saw the mistakes my father made, all of that. But when I became the vice president, my dad's best friend at the time was looking to get into a different industry. And he started shadowing my dad so he could start his own business. And then eventually, like 6 months down the road, he started his own window and door company as well. And eventually got involved with this company called Invitation Homes. And Invitation Homes was a company from Texas. They came here to Florida with zero contacts. They didn't really know anybody, so they got involved in a BNI group. And my dad's buddy, his name's Scott, was also in this BNI group. He was the only window and door company in the BNI group.
Mm-hmm.
So they came here with the intent to buy like 6,000 homes, and they were going to rent them all out.
Wow.
So, but they needed contractors is what they needed because they wanted to buy these homes, slightly renovate them, like paint them all the same color. So, if somebody damaged them, it was all the same color, but for some reason, they thought they would have to replace every window screen in every single home that they bought. Don't know why. Maybe that might be a Texas thing that you have to do. Don't know, but they didn't know any better. So they got my dad's buddy involved, Scott, and Scott was doing it for a little bit and then also realized, kind of like my dad did when he first bought his business, I'm in over my head. And he contacted me and said, hey, I know you're working for your father and you're running the office and everything for him, but I have this really good opportunity. And he goes, I think you should take it. And I thought about it a little bit and I was like, all right, I'll do it on the side a little bit. I'll do it after I get done with work, a little bit here, a little bit there. And then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And it got to the point where, I said to myself, and I said to Kristen, I said, I think I need to take this on full time and, remove myself away from my father, unfortunately, because I think this is a really good opportunity for us. And eventually that's what I did. I talked to my father about it and I said, hey, I got this opportunity from like your best friend. And I think it's a really good one. My father's always been really supportive of everything I've done.
That's awesome.
So I knew as long as I came to him, he would be okay with it because he just wants the best for me. So, so I came to him. He was totally cool with it. Everything was good. And then we started taking on a lot more of these basically window screens. I came home. I decided we're going to turn our garage into a window screen making factory. And we're going to hire one of my friends that doesn't really have a job right now. And we're going to put him in the garage and he's just going to make window screens all day long while I'm traveling the Tri-County area because they're buying houses from Miami all the way up to Jupiter. So I'm traveling all over the place, going to all these houses, got to measure all these window screens. Now, mind you, remember I told you, they're looking to buy 6,000 homes. We're the only ones really doing this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work coming in. And,
hundreds of screen a week, hundreds of screen.
Lots and lots and lots. So, we hire my friend and we get going with it. And, it was a smooth operation from there. And then we really started to expand from there was unfortunately when my wife lost her job. And that's when she got involved with Curly Tail, and I'll let her go into this more, but her experience with what she was doing before she got involved with Curly Tail is why we're so successful today. It's a very, very big reason. It's not just me. It has a lot to do with her too. I might be very good at doing the work and dealing with the customers and doing all of the outside stuff, but the internal stuff and all the stuff that makes us visible is all her.
Yeah.
So what Curly Tail is today wouldn't be here if she would have never lost her job.
Yeah.
So, like I said, everything happens for a reason, and that's part of the reason. So, she ended up losing her job, and
what were you doing before then? Because I don't know you outside of Curly Tail.
I've ever really spoke about it.
Yeah.
I was a procurement manager for Garda, which is armored trucks. It's Garda World now. It was Garda Cash Logistics back then. So I was their procurement manager. I worked in Boca. They had a merger, more or less like a equity firm just acquired them.
Yeah.
And then I was a redundant role. I was only there for a lot less than another person. So I got laid off. And then it was pretty much right at the peak of the uptick of the screen making. It sounds like a longer story than it was. Relatively a quick acceleration of Curly Tail at the beginning, but it was just over like a few months. But yes, I did. I had my layoff and I said, oh, well, I'm interviewing and looking for other positions. I'll help you just get established, set up the LLC and all of the preliminary marketing and a website. And I'll just get your foundation going while I'm going to be working elsewhere. That was the intent. So that was
You're like, I'm going to get you started and then we're going to not do this.
It wasn't even I didn't even consider it to really be an option because honestly, I'm more of I'm going to call myself a realist, borderline pessimist. He's more of an optimist.
Yeah.
So together we kind of meet in the middle. So he's like, this is going to be great. We're going to do this and it's going to be successful and everything.
Like,
I'm like, let's come back down a little bit and let's
she's like, hold on, you get a set paycheck every 2 weeks.
So we're
like, you have a salary and you just want to give that salary up and just go make window screens. and she's like, I'm like crazy. And
so it did sound, essentially like, wow, Invitation Homes is buying a lot of homes. There's a lot of potential. But even to this day, what's very grounding for me is the realization that you can't get too far ahead of yourself and to think that this is it for months and years down the line. You don't know what next week will look like. You know, everything is dependent on your physical ability, your reputation. There's so many variables that can happen. So especially at that point, I was not putting all my eggs in one basket. I was just going to get him acclimated. I was interviewing regularly, but then I was slowly pulling away from looking for positions. And eventually we were just so busy that I said, okay, I'll ride this out as long as he needs me until maybe things tick down. Or if
13 years
It all
later.
stops.
or if it got way beyond us and something changed or what happened. So I needed time to accrue in order for me to get really comfortable. And then
Yeah.
before you knew it, it was a year, and then it was 2 years, and then I was pregnant, and then I had the kids, and then I came to the realization it is a lot easier if I'm home with them
Yeah.
and doing this. And then it's just always remained. It's especially during the baby years, it was very difficult. But it allowed me to be home. So then I was like more invested in it. And then it was my baby, it was, I call it like my first child, because you grow it and you nurture it and you're building it and everything. Like it's very personal to you. Like on my bad day, sometimes I'm tired and like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, and I have a moment where I'm like, this is just a lot of stress, but it comes down to I can't abandon my baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, it's like my first kid.
That's amazing. So side question, the lizard, does he have a name, or where did that come from? Where'd you guys come up with that?
That's funny. That's the number one question that we get.
Okay.
I get it all the time. I've told the story thousands of times, probably. I've shortened it. I've told the long version of, the short version, the middle version. I've had so many versions of this story, but how it goes was when we got involved with Invitation Homes, we didn't have a company name. I didn't need one.
Yeah.
For what? I was just doing work just for them. I didn't need a company name. But at some point,
you were Sean the Screen Guy.
I was just Sean Shea LLC.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a company.
Okay.
They were my only contact. We would wake up.
We weren't doing any outside business.
Yeah,
we were only doing Invitation Homes.
Yeah, there's no private customers.
We weren't marketing so much.
We didn't have a name yet.
Yeah.
Because we would wake up in the morning and there would be 35 emails. 35 new houses they bought the day before.
Jeez.
And they would buy.
And they needed a quick turnaround.
A whole street. They would buy a whole street of houses.
Wow.
That's what they would do. Yeah. So if there's 5 on one street, we're gonna buy them all.
Wow.
And then paint them all the same color.
Yeah.
And
It to be a quick turnaround.
Yeah. So at one point they called us or sent us an email and said, hey, we're not buying any more homes anymore. The turnaround time is not going to be there for you. These people are living in them for at least a year. They're not going to really need you. You already put brand new screens in all of them, so they're not really going to need you as much. So we said to ourselves, oh, wow, we kind of need a company name. I mean, we can't be Sean Shea LLC, and the guy that I had hired, or my friend that I had hired to work in our garage, I would come back at the end of the day and he'd be waiting for me because these are my friends. So he'd want to just chat and we'd just hang out or, whatever for the day, talk about the day. And he'd be hanging out with this lizard. And I'm not kidding. It sounds weird, but this is exactly how the name came about. One of those curly tail lizards that you see in Florida. It lived under this freestanding freezer that I had in my garage, and it just must have lived under it. And I'd come back at the end of the day, and my buddy would be on top of the freezer. My buddy would be hanging out with it, feeding it the beetles from my pool, the dead beetles.
That's amazing.
And so this was all the time. I'd come back, and I never thought anything of it because and then we got that that email about they're not going to have as much work for us, blah blah blah, and we're all just sitting there thinking of this name, what should we name this company? I was getting a lot of questions from people about lizards, stuff like that, while I was out and about doing work, and we're just this lizard staring at me. He's got a curly tail, and I just said to myself, "So what about curly tail screen and window?" And I think everyone kind of chuckled at me at the time, and they're like, "What a funny name!" And I'm like, "Well, that's what we're going with." And it's a name that no one ever really forgets.
Yeah.
So everyone has a little laugh about it. Like, are you Larry, Curly, and Moe? Like, we've heard it all.
Yeah.
But once you hear the name, you don't really forget it.
Yeah.
So which is nice. And we go to a lot of neighborhoods where you deal with a guard. So you're talking to someone before you enter the neighborhood. They always remember us because of the name.
Yeah.
So it might be a silly name and people don't understand it, but it's
not generic.
It's not generic. It's not Sean Shea, the Screen Guy, or you know what I mean? It's not, you know,
It's different and it's colorful. The lizard's colorful, and yeah, it's awesome.
yeah. So, you know,
Miami Dolphin
big
colors.
Miami Dolphin colors. So I'm a big Miami Dolphins fan. So, you know, that's where I got the colors from. It's actually off of a shoe, because I used to be big into shoes.
Okay.
So I used to buy a lot of like Nike SBs, stuff like that. And it's actually a colorway from my favorite shoe is what it
That's
is.
awesome. I love little stories like that. I love it.
So that's where the colorway actually came from, believe it or not. And I still have those shoes, believe it.
I love it. We have with our company, we have a funny story, and I won't even get into it, but we're called VXIT, and it was my buddy's idea to call it VXIT. And the short story is that it was just a 4-letter domain name that sounded cool. And I'm like, well, what does VXIT mean? Well, IT stands for information technology, but what does VX mean? And he's like, we'll figure it out later. Nobody's going to ask. Everyone asked all the time. They're like, what does VX mean? And so it took us years to come up with something. But I love stories like that, because it's so, I've found that when I talk to people like this, businesses just kind of spring up like this. There's a natural need, or there's a hole somewhere, or an entrepreneur says, hey, I can do this better. Like you're always filling this need that arises. And I love that story. So, you know, you guys go through COVID, no employees, you know, and I remember when you had employees before. I know that's a struggle. And I think that's a struggle with every business, is just finding good people, retaining good people.
100%.
It's really, really tough. But what are your plans kind of for the future of that? Have you guys kind of like figured out what direction you're going? And you know, because I'm assuming you don't want to be on a ladder and installing this, you know, every day for the rest of the year, or for the rest of your life. But
No, that's definitely not the plan.
yeah.
It's never been the plan. But so it's hard, because my wife and myself, when it comes to work and the way that we work and the way that we go about business, we like it all to be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't like, you know, anything to go wrong. She doesn't like to miss anything with the schedule, or with calling a customer, or, you know, dealing with our suppliers or anything like that, you know. And I like to, you know, if I'm on a job site, or if I'm doing an estimate or anything, it has to be 100%.
Yeah.
Every single time. So it's very hard to find somebody that will do it the same exact way,
Yeah.
or at least have the same outcome as you.
Yeah.
And, you know, and be respectful to the customer, and be on time, and, you know, all the little things. So it's very hard, you know, it's hard to replace like me.
Yeah.
But we do have crews now. We have screening crews, and, you know, we did window washing for a little bit. We had a window washing crew even.
Okay.
How many screening crews do we have now? 3?
3.
Yeah, so we have three.
Okay.
3 screening crews, and then we have me that, you know, does a lot of the sliding glass door repairs and window repairs, in which you know, like I said, it's hard for me to get away from it.
Yeah.
Because it has to be done to my standard. But my standard is the reason why we're successful.
Yeah.
You know, my standard and my wife's standard, her standard on her end of it, and my standard on my end of it, is the reason why we are successful. We are, you know, one of the highest rated, you know, window and door companies in our area.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the reason. So to try to let somebody else take that role, for me, it's very difficult. As much as I want to step back, which we did step back when we had all those employees, like you knew, George.
Yep.
And, you know, when we had we had all those employees, I did take a little bit of a step back, you know, and stuff like that. And I enjoyed taking that step back, but things were sacrificed.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then we ended up, then all those guys took off during COVID anyway. So it was like, you know, we sacrificed some of our work with the way that they were doing it versus the way that I would do it. But it gave me a little more freedom. But I have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with that, because I want everyone to be happy.
I think every CEO, entrepreneur, person that's ever run a business, owned a business, is resonating with what you're saying. Because I mean, we have 30 people, and it's really hard. It's a struggle, because, you know, the reality is, across the entire employee base, like, they care, but they could never care as much as you can, just from an entrepreneur owner standpoint. Like, it's your baby, right. Like you said, like,
exactly it.
And it's your livelihood. Like, everything is resting on you guys being successful, right. And what brought you here is what you've brought to the table, and how you deliver that service. So I'm sure everybody listening to this is totally like, yeah, I get it. And it's
Hiring
tough.
is the hardest.
Yeah.
Hardest aspect of what we do, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
'Cause we're sending people into people's homes. It's like we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Some of these people's homes that you might go into, they might have raised their whole family there. They might have lots of memories there, and you're going in there and they're trusting you in their home. So whoever I hire to go into these people's homes, I have to trust them.
Yeah.
110%, because the homeowner needs to be able to trust them as well.
Yeah.
And
that's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I'm real good with the customers. I'm very personable. I like talking to customers. I always find a way to connect with my customers because I find because they need to trust you before they even know that you're going to do a good job. They need to trust you first. And I try to treat all of our customers almost like they're a friend of mine. I'll walk into their house. I'm a big sports guy. So if I see anything sports related on the wall, I go into the sports conversation with them because I know we can relate to it. And then, maybe that makes them feel a little more comfortable with me at that moment. Anything like that. Like when our kids were really young, if I saw other people had kids, I was ready to talk about kids because I had 2 of them and they were driving me crazy. So, to get in other people's perspective. So that's why, or if I hire somebody, are they going to be like that? Are they going to be that person that wants to talk about the Yankees or, the Miami Dolphins or whoever?
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my employees. So we have a company all hands meeting on Friday morning. So we kind of, each department, we do like a little slide deck. Each department goes over like wins and losses for the week. And we cover losses as well. So, hey, we missed here, and we go over it as a company. We're not looking to call anybody out, but we're like, hey, we sucked as a company collectively here. We have to fix these things. So we have a Friday all hands. And usually at the start of that, I kind of just recast my vision of the company and kind of what's going on with that. But I was talking to people about that today, and the difference between company culture and when I first started the business, what it meant or what I understood it to be versus what I've learned it actually is. So prior, when I first started the company, I was thinking like company cultures, we have a lot of fun here. We had a ping pong table in our office, and we have a good work-life balance, and we take the employees bowling and stuff like that. That has nothing to do with company culture. I learned everything that I just described is a company perk. The company culture is how we show up for ourselves, for your coworkers, and for the clients. So it's how work gets done. It's who you present as. It's that trustworthiness, and like we have our core values, and I took it a step further, and actually have like 16 bullet points. And I'm not going to get into them now, but maybe we'll film an episode on it. But it's just 16 bullet points of like how to show up. I don't know if you've ever been to Jimmy John's. He has like a rules for life sort of a thing in the bathroom, like that style thing. And again, the culture permeating that through a bunch of different people with different personalities and different upbringings. It's so hard. And I constantly say that we're a customer service company that just happens to do IT, because that's what we sell is customer service. We're running essentially a call center where people call up, they're frustrated, they can't print, they can't send emails, their computer's broken, whatever, they can't get their work done. So they call us. They don't ever call us and go, hey, I just want to let you know everything's working fine. It's always the opposite. Everything's on fire. We need you guys here right away. So, and I'm sure it's for you guys too. Like screens are broken, bugs are coming in their screen patios, their doors aren't opening.
Yep.
People never call us and go, hey, everything's fine.
Surprisingly, I do get a few phone calls.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
And I feel like we have the best customers.
That's awesome.
To be honest with you. Like
Okay.
I'll get a phone call. Like I just actually had one last night. It was so nice. It's been a little bit of a rough week, but I got a call last night from a customer that just wanted to tell me how great something was that was done for her earlier in the week.
She called just for that.
She called
That's
last
amazing.
night, like after hours, left a voicemail and said, I just want you to know, it is far beyond my expectations. I'm enjoying my screen so much, blah, 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 all the things. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. We have another project we're doing for her in a few weeks. And she's like, I'm looking forward to it. Just want you to know, have a nice evening. I'll talk to you soon. And when people do that, and
That's
there
awesome.
are people that will take the time, I call them back just to say, thank you for taking the time to call
yeah.
me. So here's a call back to tell you, thank you for that.
That's awesome.
Because you don't always, not enough people do that. It would be nice if they do.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And I love
it's not
that
happening
you.
on your side.
No. I mean, from time to time we get kudos and stuff like that.
No,
And so it's not every,
right.
but generally speaking, when people call us, they're frustrated
Right.
because something's broken. So, and again, I'm it's the same with you guys. But no, that's awesome. And it's,
Yeah.
I was joking the other day, like, so I have to have a new roof done on my house. And
We're almost there.
yeah, and spending large amounts of money on a roof. It's not like a new screen patio where you can sit outside and enjoy it. It's a roof, and it's a lot of money. So it's not like the sexy thing that's like attractive, and I'm not looking forard to it. So it's
Keeps you
cool.
dry.
Yeah, it does keep us dry. That's true. It is important. It is important.
Yeah.
But it's not as nice. Like I said, it's like if you install a screen patio over pool, and you're like, oh, I couldn't sit out here in the summer because we're in Florida, and sitting outside in the summer is kind of tough because of the mosquitoes. So getting the screen patio in,
very different.
Yeah.
that's nice. Okay, so let's pivot. Actually, I want to talk about this because I want to ask you because I'm curious. Everybody's talking about how AI is coming for our jobs, and obviously you guys are in blue collar, you work with your hands, like you guys are installing physical things. For us, we're using software and stuff like that, and obviously the back office is all run by software. But is there anything like from an AI standpoint that you guys are looking at, thinking about? And if the answer is no, that's fine, because this is like it's the Wild West. There's like people are on a spectrum of either they hate it, they're not interested, all the way to they've implemented something. And we're walking through that journey for ourselves, for our customers, and because I'm trying to figure out what it's going to change in our industry.
Yeah, that's a big one for you, for sure, I would imagine. For us, we have a little bit of job security physically, I guess, that
actual physical work.
Yeah.
I don't think AI is going to take from us. But
until the robots get good at screening.
Yeah, but maybe for like the CRM or that we use and stuff, like maybe I don't know.
Yeah, so we do have a CRM that's not AI, but our CRM I do like a lot. That does help us. As far as AI at the moment, all that AI is doing for my day to day is it does write all of my marketing posts, and
that's awesome.
It will write some emails for me, and it does analyze our standings compared to competitors.
That's awesome.
So sometimes I'll just run some comparative reports just to see what it pulls, because we have had customers say, I asked AI the best screen company near me, and you were first.
That's awesome.
That's why they called us.
Yeah,
so I like
that
to
was last week.
poke around a little bit with AI and just seeing where we fall into things like that. But taking job functions from us, I think we're pretty set for not having that interrupt our physical aspect, right? But
but I mean, if there was a way to use it with integrate it with the CRM somehow, that would be cool.
I've contemplated integrating a little bit of like an AI receptionist.
Something like that. Yeah, I think that'd be.
We stand apart from a lot of people, a lot of other companies, based off of our communication.
Yeah.
So off the top, so communication being, I'm not always accessible to answer the phone if somebody's calling right now. They're getting my voicemail, but I am thinking about it incessantly that I am calling you back same business day. Your text will be answered, your email will be answered. Like I am constantly, trying to get back to somebody as quick as possible, right?
Yeah.
A lot of companies aren't doing that. They're if they're like a one-man show, and if Sean had nobody else except for him, and there's a lot of companies that do what we do that are just like one or two people. He has the phones coming to his cell phone. He'll call you maybe he'll wait until Monday.
He's on a ladder. He's busy.
And communication and customer service, not to say that they're not good at it, but it doesn't rank high. Like they're focusing on the job that they're doing at the moment. They're worried about all the phone calls after the fact. So the fact that we can run him doing the physical jobs, me focusing on making sure everybody is addressed at the same time, with a human to human contact too. That's why I haven't gone to the AI route, because I don't think somebody really wants to talk to all the prompts.
Yeah.
Tell me what you need. I need a screen repair. Well, tell me a little bit more about it. Give me your name. All these things where you lose that aspect where they called and they spoke to a robotic AI receptionist. Do they feel the same way as if not talking to me? I'm saying, good morning. I'm saying, yes, hi, how are you? I'm asking questions more in detail. Don't have to call you back sometime, everything's addressed in like a 3-minute conversation.
Yeah.
I thought about it a little bit, but we haven't gotten there.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. You're using it a little bit, which is awesome. That's great. Cause I think, from my standpoint and where I'm seeing kind of things going, obviously we're in IT, we're at the forefront of all of this. I think that AI is going to make us bionic. I don't want to be the horse and buggy is staying around forever kind of guy, and these cars will never catch on. But I do think that AI is a good tool. But just like any other tool, a hammer doesn't swing itself. A wrench doesn't turn itself. So, I think that you're using it in all the right places. That's amazing. And I think again, you can do more with the same amount, from a back office standpoint. You might not have to hire, an extra receptionist or anything like that. But it goes to the fact, like, everybody's saying, oh, it's going to replace all of your technicians. And I'm like, not really, because of that human element. So when they call in, they want to speak to a human. What have we done since the beginning of phones where you get an automated message? The first thing you do is you're mashing that damn 0 to talk to a human. You don't want to talk to you don't want to talk to a robot or, or
too many prompts. You lose interest.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that may change at some point, maybe, but nothing can replace the human connection.
No.
It just, and that's super important. Okay. So let's dive into Christmas. You guys are a huge fan of the season. When did you start? So you have your house basically decorated more than I've ever seen a house decorated. You have a Facebook page dedicated to this where you have nightly shows. Just kind of walk us through that. Three shows a night.
3 shows a night.
Yeah. So walk us through this, and then tell people where they can find you on Facebook and whatnot.
So have you noticed that our house is red and green?
Oh my gosh. I did not until you just said something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Front door is red.
It's very subtle.
It is subtle.
So somebody who hasn't seen it probably is like, wow, their house is red and green. But no,
Wow.
See, it's a little subtle notch of Christmas in between.
I love it.
It's like more maroon, but it's a red, and there's a sage. So
we're always Christmasing.
We're always Christmasing.
I love it.
So we started Country Roads Christmas Light Show in 2017-ish. We started to get involved.
The year after we bought our house.
A year after we bought our house, we decided that we wanted lights that synced to music. So we did buy like an automated plug and play kind of situation to get acclimated, where certain things like bushes blinked with the beats of the songs. And then by 2018, I started to learn how to sync them with the program Lightorama.
Okay.
So it's very tedious. It takes a lot of time where you have different, what they call props. So like each bush is its own channel and each tree could be its own section. So, and it illuminates, it looks like it's, going up, and that is each triggered. So it does take a lot of time. Each 3-minute song takes about 21 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I get the question a lot with AI. Why don't you just have AI plug and play?
Yeah.
I have tried that for this particular situation, but since AI doesn't know the whole layout of things and what aesthetically looks good, it's trying to do something that makes sense, maybe based off the beat, but it's not seamless. It's so much cleaning up that needed to happen. Like, it did some stuff okay, but then it wasn't great. So AI, unfortunately, isn't working for what we need that for. But so we have 3 shows a night. Pretty much started in 2018, I would say, officially. It's 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30. And it's not a walkthrough display, so that's a little different from a lot of other Christmas houses that let you physically walk through. Ours is more broad and open, where you can walk the perimeter and you can see different scenes, different angles. But if you're walking, it's a big front area, so you can walk from one end over to the other end, take pictures in front of like big wreaths and like big angel wings, and we have like an ice cream truck and sometimes Santa visits and big igloo that you can like take pictures in. And it's more of like an experience and like a hangout place for longer than a few minutes. The shows are 15 minutes, but it's longer, that you can come, bring your kids. They can, run. You don't have to keep them in a stroller. And it's not like you're worried about them touching too many things. There aren't too many things that they could get in trouble with, they more visually just seeing things, and then it's the music.
So when you first started, you wanted lights that was going to sync to music for your own personal use, or was this ultimately you wanted to do this whole show thing? Like, this is kind of what you had in mind from the beginning.
It was for our own personal use at first.
Okay.
Well, so to go back even a little bit further, when we used to live in Boca Raton. Yeah. And before we moved up to this area. And we bought something. What was it? Oh, it was called a Mr. Christmas box, which was just like
literally something
direct,
at Walmart.
like box that you would plug into.
You just plug it.
And then it had just preset music with this little tiny speaker that would play, and the lights would just randomly flash. And we bought that, and people would walk by and they would look at our lights when we lived in Boca. Wow, that's so cool! That's so cool. And it was like every once in a while, I think on Facebook it shows up in like memories.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, this is what we used to do. Like compared to what we do now, it's pretty incredible. But so we did that. And then when we got to the house where we live now, it was more my wife than me.
People always think it's the other way around.
Yeah, they think it's the other way around because I have that personality where if we're gonna do something, we're going all in.
Yeah,
there's no middle ground for Sean. I'm sorry. There's either I'm not doing it or we're doing it 110%.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, let's do this and that and that, and I'm like, if we're gonna do this, we're going all in.
You're basically Buddy the Elf at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So she has molded me into the Christmas animal I am today.
And in a little bit funny of a twist of things, I tend to take things further because we had a meal before we came here, and we were actually talking about Christmas.
Planning.
Yeah.
And I was telling him
planning.
and he says, that's for next, we can't do that this year. We have to do that for next Christmas. Like, I'm taking it too far.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
already adding this year. You can only add so much.
No, but see, if I get it in my mind, it's going to happen. And I physically will go there. I'll be at Home Depot. I'll be buying PVC pipes and walking with these like huge 10-foot long PVC pipes. I'll come home and they'll be like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm sitting there with a heat gun. I'm molding them into candy cane.
Like it's February. What is going on?
But it's almost a yearly thing for us to do this because, I mean, that's what I mean. All year thing, not a yearly thing. It's all year. We take a little break, for like a month or two and not even talk about it. But we have to start planning. It's just the two of us that do all of it.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, we have 100,000 plus lights. We have 51 songs that are synchronized to music.
Jeez.
We have 1.5 acres of property. We cover almost the whole entire property except the backside of it with lights. The guest house is covered with lights. The whole roof is covered with lights. The whole side of the house is covered with lights. Every single tree in our front yard, which I think there's like 29 or 32, something like that, are covered with lights. Top to bottom.
When do you start decorating? Like, when does the first string of lights go up?
I would say August.
September,
August. Yeah.
We try to push it through like most of hurricane season.
You got to be careful of hurricane season. You can't do the roof, until after hurricane season.
The weather has been burning us the last handful of years. We keep getting these crazy storms like right after Halloween. Like the first week of November when you think you're safe.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, whatever. No, it is most definitely not okay. And we're so close to the end because we go live on Thanksgiving night every year.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving, third week-ish of November, right? So when we get a storm right before that, everybody's
hard,
nervous and freaking out. We have a lot of damage that we have to fix for a few years. It's always a lot of rain, flooding, big.
And all the tree stuff we do off a boom lift. So, and we only rent it for a week. So once it's gone, if I have damage up high, 40 feet in the air, well, Sean doesn't have wings, so I can't fly up there and get up there anymore. And I don't do the 40-foot extension ladder anymore.
I don't blame you.
So luckily, we've moved on to more commercial grade Christmas lights for the majority of our lights now, which don't fail as often. So luckily, now that we're using those, I don't have to worry quite as much if something happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if I don't plug something in correctly and we get one of those storms and there's branches blowing around, something could come unplugged. I might get on the ladder and plug something back in, but I'm not like fixing lights off of a ladder or anything like that because then it just gets dangerous.
Yeah.
But we a lot of songs, a lot of lights. And like Kristen was saying, it's more of an experience than just a light show. There's other people that do light shows, but we do food truck nights. I block off the road. Like,
awesome.
There's 2 food trucks out there. I have speakers outside. We blast the music 3 times a night. My neighbors love me.
Not being sarcastic.
No, they have to. They must love me. They continue to let me do it every year. And then when we have food truck nights, I bring out more speakers, and it's like a party outside. But we don't just do this just to have fun as well. We are involved with a charity called Little Smiles. And that is one of the big things reason I like to continue to do this, let's say. I like to give back. And our light show is giving back in a way. And we learned that during COVID, actually, when no one could go outside, no one did anything. The year COVID hit, when people started going outside towards the end of that year, coming to our light show, and there was Greyhound buses coming with people from nursing homes.
Oh my
And it was just, that was the moment that I think both of us realized that there's so much more to this light show than what we think it is.
Yeah.
Because we're involved in it so much that it's not quite as special that to somebody that hasn't left their house in 6 months and, and sees it for the first time. So we saw that, and I think that pushed us to want to do more.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And want to bring more to the table. And that's when we started like blocking off the road, doing more food truck nights, doing we have a Santa arrival night where Santa comes in a convertible, and he takes pictures with everybody. And we have 4 snow machines that blow fake snow after every show. So the kids are playing in this fake snow, which is actually just bubbles, but they love it though, and I do something called projection mapping as well. And for people that don't know what projection mapping is, it's where you take a projector onto any sort of image and you outline it, and then you project just onto that building, or they do it with cakes a lot, at weddings, stuff like that. Where you see it on a big scale is like Disney World, Universal Studios, stuff like that. So I take my garage and I projection map onto that, and I turn it into usually some sort of facade. Gingerbread house, maybe Santa's workshop, stuff like that. And people really get a kick out of that too. Now, they think it's real.
Yeah. So you use the word garage, but let's be clear. This thing is a building. Like, it's a small warehouse building because you have your equipment in there. And I'm sure you bought that for the business and it's just for the equipment, but more than half of that's probably Christmas stuff.
It was bought for both reasons.
Okay.
The reason we put the garage there is because we had run out of room for all our Christmas stuff as well. So in the garage, I built a loft in there, and the loft is what holds all the Christmas stuff.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, the loft is getting a little small, or we have too much stuff. I don't know. One of the two things. I don't know which one it is, but I think we're gonna need to expand this loft a little bit because we keep just buying more and more stuff and making more and more stuff.
Well, that's part of the problem too. So I come up with these great ideas. Where I'll see something, those little videos that pass you by that like, oh, no big deal. You take this and you do this with it, and it just turns into this great, amazing, like Christmas item, if you've ever seen those videos, or they just on my But I found something a few years ago that was just like, one of those balloon circles that you can, it's like, it's a thin pipe. It's in a circle, and you use it. You just put balloons on it. Well, somebody decided that they were going to tie a bunch of pool noodle foams to thicken it. So it's not just a thin thing. And then you just wrap it with like evergreen to make it a big
garland
wreath. Oh my gosh.
So I made one of those. It's 8 feet tall.
It's massive. It's one of our photo op areas is what it is. So it's really cool. It's really, really cool, actually.
Cool. But then the situation is, where are we putting it?
Yeah.
And how are we storing it where it's not getting messed up?
Well, here's the funny story about that. So she's building this thing, right? She's building it in our formal living room.
Oh.
And so she builds it, and it's looking nice. It's she's taking her time. It's taking her a long time. She builds this thing. She's all excited about it, and I'm like,
it's 8 by 8.
So how are we getting this out the door? how does this giant, massive thing gonna go out the door? It was like trying to figure out, it was like,
you play Tetris.
Operation.
Oh, yeah,
remember where you couldn't hit the side or it'd buzz?
Yep.
That's what it was like trying to get it out the door. You didn't want to mess it up. So you didn't want to hit anything with it, but you had to do it in such a perfect way in order to get it.
That's amazing.
We got it.
It was fun.
That's amazing. Well, I love coming over there, and I especially love, so we'll stand outside with kind of the public, but sometimes like if we're hanging out, and we didn't cover this earlier, but we used to be neighbors. So we used to live a street over. But so when we come over, when you guys are doing the light show and there's the public out there and we're actually like coming over to hang out at your house, when I slip into the gate, my family slips into the gate, I'm like, I'm getting the VIP treatment. Yeah. They're like, is that guy allowed to do that? I'm like, no, just stand stay out there. This is for the this is the VIP.
That's when I started getting all the questions.
Yeah.
So, can we come in?
Yeah.
And I'm
You're like, no,
"Ooh,
definitely not."
No. We used to let people in every once in a while, but people are not very respectful of your
Yeah.
stuff. Well, it's usually the kids because the parents aren't watching the kids. Is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens. So we put an end to that.
Yeah, we want it to be enjoyable for everybody. Like for us, it is our home at the same time.
Totally.
So, and at the same time, there's a lot of cords. Like we don't want anything to happen with anybody tripping and a lot of electrical in general. So as much as it would be nice if you could get in there and like touch stuff, it's just for us better that it's a scene.
And mind you, we have thousands of people that come throughout the season. So it's not like this is not just a couple people that come. We have thousands that come throughout.
It's crazy.
One night you could easily hit 500 people.
That's crazy.
And
So where can people find more information about this?
So on our Curly Tail website,
Okay.
there's a separate tab when we just refreshed our Curly Tail website. So now it has a lot more detail on the light show and countdown to Christmas in case anybody needs to know,
That's awesome. So what's the website?
curlytailscreens.com.
Perfect. Okay. And then you can find out about
Yeah, and on
Christmas.
Facebook.
you can find us on Facebook, Country
okay.
Roads Christmas Light Show. Yeah, we're everywhere. TikTok,
Awesome.
you name it, we're there.
Any plans to expand into Halloween, haunted house, or anything like that?
So we do a little bit of Halloween.
Okay.
It's hard though because we're starting to set up for Christmas in August, September.
Yeah.
So we're overlapping Halloween here. But what I do is I do the projection mapping.
Okay.
So I'll do a full like 15, 20-minute scene on the garage, with the projector. And I'll have like, fog out there. And I have a few props I put outside, stuff like that. But I keep it very condensed, because the rest of the yard is it's already turning into Christmas. So, and that's but everyone's always so excited for the Christmas stuff. So it's like, it's hard to want to put in the same energy into something else because the amount of energy that we put into Christmas is incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible. Incredible is the word for it. Okay, so let's wrap up with one thing I like to kind of ask entrepreneurs and business owners, and how do you guys, and especially for you guys because you guys work out of your house, like how do you unplug? How do you keep your mental state in a good state? And I'm sure it's different for both of you. You play a bunch of beach volleyball. We've talked about like weight loss and working out and stuff like that. And we're kind of on a similar journey where we've given up alcohol and stuff like that. So
a long time.
How do you guys each kind of disconnect and make sure that you as a person are, you're good?
You want to start?
I'm almost going to laugh because I have a hard time
disconnecting.
Yeah.
So you are definitely a type A.
I am so into the business. I am thinking about it. I am constantly emailing at night. I should call it, a night and be like, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not answering this email. I can wait till tomorrow. Like, I definitely have a problem cutting off and separating. I do try. I am trying to find other things to distract me from it. Like you did see me not too long ago. I go to the sauna and I do the cold plunge.
Yep.
That's my current obsession. I'll say that.
Love it.
I'm into all kinds of like holistic things. So I'm trying to focus more on, like physical well-being.
Yeah.
Because I do think that not disconnecting has taken a toll.
Yeah, for sure.
On me, like mentally, physically, like my muscles are tense, like my thoughts are scattered because I'm constantly, I want to say like more ADHD brained. Definitely need to bring in my attention to focusing on it's time to call it a day and not answer that email. But it's hard, it's like, it's my baby. I feel, and I don't want anybody to wait, you know, like I'll be thinking about responding to your email. Why don't I just answer it? Like, you're waiting for me to answer and I have a second. Why don't I just answer it? But so for me, it is harder, but I am trying to separate.
That's awesome.
Things, but
I would, it's because of our different responsibilities at work. I think it's easier for me to disconnect. Yeah. Because she is answering all the emails and, she's involved with a lot more than I am on that end of it. Yeah. So for me to be on the field more, dealing with the customers and dealing with the jobs and, stuff of that nature, it is a lot easier for me to disconnect. And I do have, like you said, I play beach volleyball. I like to work out, things like that. So I use those as well as a way to disconnect from work and not think about it as much. And, because we do live with it. My garage is our workshop, and
Yeah.
so, and one of our rooms in our house is an office that we work out of. So, it is hard, and I do try to help Kristen with it as much as I can and try to get her to disconnect because of her personality and
Micromanager.
and but it's why we're so successful though. It's so you can say all that, but in the end, because of the way she is, we're here compared to our competitors being here for that, and it's that reason.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a good and bad thing.
Yeah, no, totally. It is a good and bad thing. And I one of the things that I have learned in my life that is if I get up at 5, do my cold plunge, my stretching, my walk, whatever, my lifting and my running, whatever I need to do, my morning routine. But I realize that I have to get up at 5 to do that because my day starts pretty early. The kids get up, get them ready for school. Life just starts to happen. What I have found is that when I take care of myself first, my business then benefits. So it's amazing that we ran into you at the float spa place. And that's a whole nother thing that we could probably talk about. Tried the float spa for the first time the other day. It was wild. But I always equate it back to when you're on the airplane, they always tell you to put your own mask on first. And it's so important to do that so that you can help others, so that you can be, because I've experienced that where thoughts are scattered. You're constantly thinking about the business. But again, like you're saying, like what I've found is that if I just focus, and it's counterintuitive because you're like, well, I should just work harder and answer more emails and stuff like that. But if you make the time to make sure that your own mask is on first, whatever that version of that is for you, you can actually show up in a better manner for your customers. And it's not, again, like us type A, us entrepreneurs, we don't think that. We think, oh, just work harder or work more. And it's hard for us to shut off. I don't know that I knew that about you. That you're kind of that visionary type A person. That's
why we're a good mix here.
Yeah.
We're very good at what we each do.
Yeah.
And we don't mix it together. We have that line.
It is hard working from home for me. As much as I love the flexibility of it, and it's nice to have that, but there's no separation of work because I'm not physically driving to an office and working and then driving home, and it's not accessible to me to do things.
Yeah.
Where we are mobile and there is a lot of customer visits and things that don't involve, traveling, but at the same time, the fact that all of my paperwork is right there. All of my computer is within reach. I'll just send a quick email, it's very accessible. When it's
what you should do? Take your desk and move it into the Christmas loft area amongst all your Christmas stuff.
There's no internet. It's so hard with internet, but that I thought.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And I know, like you said earlier, like you guys are the business. So you taking your time out of your day to come here and spend with me, I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And again, Google or get on Facebook, find the Country Roads Christmas show. It's incredible, and come out this coming Christmas. It's amazing. At some point, maybe you guys can expand it to Christmas in July or something like that.
It's not a bad idea.
Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.